Hi, this is an introduction to the Wesley Covenant service. Um, it's interesting because this has become a very popular service, and John Wesley is given credit for having put it all together. But in actuality, he borrowed it. It's not original to John Wesley. As a matter of fact, the first uh, incident of it is from 1663. Uh, John Wesley published it in a collection of called A Christian Library, and it's included in that volume in 1753. And he didn't use it himself until August of 1755. It was probably the first real celebration of the covenant service in the Methodist movement. It was for him a very special thing. And he says, he quotes himself, he's quoted as saying, it was an occasion for a variety of spiritual experiences. I do not know that ever we had a greater blessing. Afterwards, many desired to return thanks, either for a sense of pardon, for full salvation, or for a fresh manifestation of his graces, healing all their backslidings. It was a service that was done in London. Usually it was held on New Year's, although Wesley's first one was held in August. Uh, and around the country, the covenant service was conducted whenever John Wesley showed up at one of the society meetings. The heart of the service is focused on the covenant prayer, which requires all of us to commit ourselves to God. And this covenant is very serious, and it assumes a continuing response to the covenant, not just once a year, not just whenever we do the covenant service, but whenever we gather, thinking about the renewing of the covenant that God has made with us, and that we then, in turn, in response to his faithfulness and goodness, return that love to God. It's sometimes called the watch night service because sometimes it was done on New Year's Eve. And originally, it was John Wesley trying to keep people out of the taverns on New Year's Eve or on Christmas Eve, and giving them something else to do besides that outdoor kind of celebration. And so he instituted the watch night service. Historically, the watch night service would be 3 hours long. Don't worry, I won't make you do that. It was sometimes even longer than that. It included readings from scripture, it included hymn singing, it included testimonies. I've only been in one church where we had a watch night service. And actually, we ended up playing board games and card games and eating. And then around 11 o'clock, we went to the sanctuary and spent about an hour, hour and a half in worship, bringing in the new year. For this covenant service, which I will share with you here on our YouTube video, you will need a few things because we will also have a remembrance of our baptism as well as communion. So, in remembrance of your baptism, you'll want to have a bowl or a little bit of water that you can put your fingers in to remember your baptism. You will need bread or a cracker, whatever. I like to use a cracker. And some kind of element that reminds you of the sustenance of life. I've said to some people that in Asia they use rice cakes because that's the sustenance that they claim, not because they don't have wheat flour readily available. You will also need some juice or water Something that implies to you also that which we cannot live without: water, juice, um, whatever. I happen to actually have some grape juice today, so I'll be using grape juice. I hope that you will look at the Wesley Covenant Prayer. You'll find it in the comment sections below, and on the Covenant Service video, you'll find also the Covenant Prayer, which I've also emailed out to those of you whose email I have. And I hope that you will take a moment to look over it before you enter into worship for the communion service. Join me in the other video that you'll see, the covenant service of renewal. God bless you.